And then there is a moment that till this day, I still feel it in my body. We were coming home from church one night, and I was the pastor's adjutant, so I would help him close up the church and at least get himself ready to leave the church. So I would help him wrap things up, pack his things, move his things, and help him. And during this time, I was a new driver. He would let me drive his car. Nobody else would at the time. I didn't have the voluntary access that I had with him. So he would let me drive his car home and to church when he would pick me up. New driver, new license, and I was driving us back from church that night to my house where I was living with my aunt at the time, my aunt and uncle at the time. We're driving, before we get close to my house, we're having a normal conversation, but we're driving. As we get closer to the house, we're like, around the corner from my house, there's an empty lot that is a wooded area next to the parkway. It's a lot of parkway noise, so you hear that. And he asked me to abruptly to pull over. And it's dark when you're this wooded, obscure, vacant area. Everything around the environment or in that environment just shifted. The energy shifted as well. Something immediately got me nervous. I can feel it now. I still feel that nervousness. So I pull over, and I was so rattled by what my intuition was anticipating, that I pulled up on the side of the curb by accident. And I was just embarrassed because I felt like I wasn't keeping my composure, and he was now noticing that I was nervous. So I quickly tried to correct my behavior. I was embarrassed. I felt flustered and nervous. I think he could tell that I was nervous. Then he didn't take that as an indication to pull away from what he was getting ready to do, but he started to hesitate a little bit. He started saying that he wanted to ask me something, but he didn't know if I was ready. He kept on he said, we've been talking. I want our conversations to go deeper. I want you to know me deeper. Just alluding to there needs to be an elevation or a next level dimension that our connection needed to get to. So he kept saying, he was saying that I wasn't ready for what he was about to or wanted to do. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, ready for what? What would I need to be ready for? We talk about everything. We talk every day, all the time. You're my pastor. You're supposed to be helping me. What is the difficulty in your speech at this point? Because this is unusual to me. If everything is on the up and up, if everything is just platonic and straight, right? Where is this hesitation? What is this hesitation about? He turned to me, or turned toward my seat. I'm in the driver's seat, and he turned in his seat. He was in the passenger in a diagonal position, while my hands are gripping the steering wheel, and I'm looking forward. My body is on high alert. I don't know why I'm on high alert, but I'm getting this feeling that I've had before with other men in my life, that it felt like abuse was coming. It felt like it was coming. So it was familiar and scary at the same time, because I should not be feeling in this setting. He knows that I've been sexually assaulted before. It was feeling like that. That's how I can name it at this point. Then he started saying he was a man, that he was a human, that he had feelings and emotions, and he was complicated, not understood by anybody but me. He started to say that we had a special relationship, and then he asked me, can I have a kiss? I looked at him. I don't even think I looked at him. I looked past him because I couldn't even look at him directly. I was shocked. My body was frozen. It felt like I exploded inside. That is the only way I know how to say it right now, but it was like every alarm inside of me went off. Shock, fear, heat, paralysis, confusion, numbness, you name the somatic terror. Everything in me knew something had just been crossed. Something had just been broken. What made it so devastating, it contradicted everything I believed our relationship was at that time. This was the man that was supposed to be helping me get delivered from homosexuality. This is the man that my family trusted. This is the man that I trusted. This is the man who was supposed to be guiding me spiritually, helping me to suppress, reject, overcome what I had been taught was wrong about me. In one moment, everything collapsed. Everything in that moment, it didn't just confuse me emotionally. It shattered a spiritual framework that I had built up until then, that I had built my trust on. I remember saying some version of, "You're my pastor." I just started making fragmented statements like, "You're my pastor. You're married. You're supposed to be helping me. What do you mean? No, you cannot. No, what do you mean?" Because that is exactly, I don't know, that is exactly what made it so disorienting. He immediately started to apologize, started to do damage control. I'm just like, at this point, I want to go home. I do not want to be here. I'm immediately thinking like, what the hell do I do in this situation, right? But the damage had already been done. The damage had already been done. What people need to understand, I think, is that after something like that happens, the young person is not suddenly free and empowered just because they know something is wrong, right? Sometimes knowing something is wrong makes you feel even more trapped. And I felt locked in. Because now you know, but you still believe that this person, because of how you've been groomed up until now, holds spiritual authority and power over your life. That is where I was. I believe that departing from him could be a rebellion against God. Nobody would believe me. I believe that leaving him could mean leaving my spiritual destiny. So I stayed silent. I stayed stuck. I did not have experiential adulthood, the psychological tools, the institutional protection, or the spiritual freedom to know what to do next. So that moment fucked me up. It did. It permanently altered something in me, even till this day. He quickly moved to recalibration, to spiritually repositioning the relationship. He reminded me that I was destined to be in his life. I was reminded that there were consequences if I did not remain in my place. This all still had some spiritual meaning somehow, even with this egregious act that just happened. That is how control reasserts itself after a boundary has been violated. Because I was still under all of that theology at that time, all that pressure, all of that dependence, all I could say was, I couldn't say anything, not then at least. I didn't have the words, I didn't have the vocabulary. I had such a fear of hell, and if I did not do anything, and if I did not comply, hell would be my portion. I was trapped, psychologically trapped, manifested in the flesh, observed by a predator, and taken advantage of, exploited.